Hey there, thanks for tuning in. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. Today's project, I'm not sure how it's gonna go. You know what? This is where, sometimes I just kind of walk in circles around around the back warehouse here looking for stuff to put together and see what I can make. So here's my thought. I have this big honking metal mirror. And, okay, India trading, made in China. All right, so, nothing wrong with it. I could just look at selling it like it is, but I think that I would own it forever. And really, I just want to make something. So I'm going to make something. So here's the thing. This I got for nothing. And then I thrifted. Always when I'm in a thrift store, I look at the florals. So I got this bundle of florals, which kind of look like wildflowers. And I like that there's all kinds of different sizes. I got this bundle. So this was $6.99, so $7. Each of these was $7. Same price? Yes. So $7 less 30%. So we're talking about $5. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And I thrifted as well this bundle of leaves, which I think was $2. So I'm thinking we're going to make a mirror wreath. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how this is going to look. So this is a big, look at the big surface. I am not looking at covering all of the metal. So this kind of aged, faux distressed tin look, I will keep. What I do want to make sure is that I keep this pointing up. That's the hanging hardware part. I mean, it's got a metal rim. You could kind of hang it wherever, but it's less confusing for anybody that buys it if they see where it goes. So I'm thinking a mirror wreath. Obviously for indoors. Don't put it on your door just in case. You don't want this smashing. But you know what? Like, why not? So the first thing that I want to do is I want to cut apart some of this greenery because it's primarily going to be base, right? And because I don't have to stick it to anything, cutting it shorter would be easier, right? That I'm not dealing with all of the big long stems. Okay, let me get this and cut down, and maybe some of the florals cut down because you don't need to see me cutting them down. And then we'll take a look a little bit at plans and composition. I don't know. The worst thing that happens is it looks awful. And I think I can pop everything off of the frame glue-wise, so the frame may still be okay for me to be doing another project. I might be able to rescue a lot of the florals, but really, if I really mess them up and I can't use the florals, I have to throw them out, I'm out $10. So sometimes you just say, what the heck? You just go for it. So that's what we're doing together. We're gonna go for it and see if the idea in my head actually looks good in real life. You guys will let me know, I'm sure. I think that what I want to do is get a little bit of the greenery down first. I will reserve some of it to add in after, but I want to get it as a bit of my wreath base. I don't think I'm going to go all the way around. So I'm going to leave the side exposed so we still see some of the metal. I think if I leave, here's my thinking. I think if I leave some of it exposed at from the top, then where you see some of the metal behind and under, it all kind of coordinates. It kind of fits in. rather than if I try and do a circle, then any of the exposed metal would look off. I don't know. So what I am thinking is that there's some of these branches that have little tiny leaves at the end, kind of on little tendrils. Those are the ones that I want to start with by gluing them down in around the edge and have the tendrils kind of loose, right? As opposed to some that they end with very big leaves, and I can use those as filler elsewhere. So that's my plan, is to start with those outside edges and then move in toward here. You can see that I'm already looking at leaves overlapping into the mirror, and I think that'll be okay. I'm just looking at whether or not I want to glue these leaves to the outside rim, to the top of the rim, to the inside glass rim. Oh, the decision's never ending. I think this first one, if I glue it flat, it looks a little too flat. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna put these two on the inside rim, and I think they'll probably be the only ones on the inside rim. We'll see how that goes. So, way easier. And I'm gonna try and put my glue on the metal rim as opposed to on the mirror, but it's okay either way. And then I'm going to glue it down, watching out for my fingers. Now that I've got those first two tacked down, it gives me some positioning as to where to start placing some of the others and how to be able to get them in. The fun part is more the flowers because they add some color. But I want to get just a little bit of a base of leaves down so that when I start adding the flowers, I can mix them down into some of the greenery. So we've got a little bit of this already in place, and the flowers can kind of start filling in around it. So I'm just going to get one single layer. So I'm going to finish my C with the greenery, and then we'll come back and start taking a look at some of the flowers. Okay, I've got a rough amount down, right? So you can see coming across like this. I still have, as I keep moving this, let me make sure I'm still staying centered. I still have lots of the greenery left. And what I want to do is start adding flowers in, and then I can add in greenery here and there around the flowers where I need to. So what I am thinking is that I have these big blooms that I will use kind of over here-ish. So, and then I will look at these work together. This was such a good thrifted, different places, different days. I love it when it works out. Okay, so, all right, so here's the other thing. I'm gonna be cutting off these blooms, right? And gluing them in because I don't need the big stems. But I have to tell you, I mean, I will be saving the greenery and I'll save the stems because at some point I will need a long wired something for something. I don't know if this makes me weird that I save all this stuff, but and I don't know why I feel compelled to tell you that I'm saving all this stuff, but I am. Okay, these are going to be hard to cut. It's a very thick wire. So what I want to do is cut some of the big blooms and lay them out, and then take a look at taking apart that other bundle. And two-handed grip, that's what's going to do it. And I think I need them actually closer. Well, good learning. Yep. Okay. So, and that's one stem I'll put over there to save. So I know that I'm going to need at least 3 because I mean, these are lovely. This was a good thrift. Nice. I'm so proud of my thrifting. Okay. Just getting an idea here. Stay. I don't want to glue you yet. Okay, so I still have, first of all, I still have a number of these for adding in if I need to, right? If I decide to do one and one up here, I'm just kind of nesting in. Right now, they kind of look like lily pads, don't they? Flowers on lily pads. So I still have enough that I could add another 2, and then I have 3 for another project. So that's going far. So that's awesome. And then I have a number of these to start looking at and taking apart. You're just from something entirely different. I like these stems. All right, so now it comes down to just roughly starting to take a look at what stems have we got, which ones are working, because right now I'm looking at this one, which I quite like. All right, you are just more greenery. Let's put you off to the side. It's the organizing, seeing how many I've got. Okay, so I have 2 of those stems, 2 of those, 1 of these, which I quite like, and 1 of these. So I'm going to save these little guys as kind of filler where maybe I need to just pop in a little color somewhere. These 2 look good. I love these guys, but I only have the 1. I only have the 1. Yes, okay. But I can cut it apart into 3 so that, oh, so much easier to cut. I have an idea for making some plastic flowers, and I'm thinking it would be awesome to build them onto these existing stems rather than just wire. All right, so I'm thinking I have 3 of these, so I could nestle that 1 big sprig, because I've got 1 big and 2 little. So if I do the 1, because they look kind of longer, having them pointing out kind of this way, and build that 3rd little guy with it, then they kind of balance out, and that looks all right. Perfect. So having these sort of little roses, which are a stronger color, kind of coming in around here-ish. This is just to lay it out and look and see thing, right? And this is how I always do it. That you want to just kind of, you are a slightly different color. You want to just kind of see how it goes. All right, so you're kind of bigger. I want you guys lower. Color-wise, you guys could go in here. That works. And then I can fit some of those in there too. Not the orange. Get rid of the orange. Just the pink. All right. That works. That's my plan. Does it look like it's a plan? Does it look organized? So what this does is it just gives me a rough idea of the balance and layout of the color. I will have some of these stronger blooms closer toward the center and then leading out. So these ones, because of the darkest color, even though they're not the biggest flower, if I just had too much of them centered in one spot, it would draw the eye immediately. And I want the focal point to be around these big flowers. So I will nestle some of these, and in particular, I've got some of the smaller buds, and I have quite a few of these, so I will nestle them in. So I will add these ones last so that I use them to balance the whole design. And it's so much easier to be doing this top down, right? So standing up, looking down at it. So what I will do now is glue these three, because that's my main focal piece. And then I will glue these longer pieces out and then start looking for the balance. So I will put some of these kind of pale peachy ones in, kind of balanced here, so that, again, it's darkening the color a little bit. And then I'll do some of these. And then I'll look to see which ones of these I need to add in just to balance out a little bit of the color down in this area to ensure that the eye still is drawn to it. But that creates kind of the balance and the way that I sort of organize the looks. So starting here, then going longer, and then working my way from kind of a color gradation, or just looking at the colors that I have available. How do they start to balance off against each other? So I'm going to just gently lay these guys, this is the bottom, out in sort of an orderly fashion. Might not look that way to you, but I know where I'm going. And get these and these little sprigs first, and then we'll start adding in from there. Let me share with you the finished look. So this is where we're at. So you can see that I did add in those little florals that we had and some little similar white ones just to kind of soften it, so it wasn't all just big heavy flowers, that we had a little bit of softness, right? Just some smaller. We needed to have a little bit of that texture in there, I thought. It's kind of got this wildflower look to it, which I love. And again, it's all about, let me just put this down here. It's all about creating the balance. I quite like the idea of having the mirror in the center. And I don't know, before I had this big one gifted to me, that I would have thought of that. I'll take some pics for you to be able to see. But, you know, I hope that it gives you an idea of looking at different things in your home. You know, maybe you've got like a big old mirror kind of like this, and you're thinking, well, you know what, I don't even want to paint it out. And that's where I was. I didn't feel like painting it from the perspective of that was going to be a significant enough change. I had contemplated doing a bunch of molds on it. But then I just started to think about the summer and florals, and I went this way. Really wasn't sure, but I actually like how it turned out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you would do this to a mirror in your home, or if you're starting to look at your mirrors a little differently. Again, don't overlook any of the thrifted florals that, especially when they bundle them into some color families, it helps give you an idea already of what may go with one another. Sometimes you get the odd ones, like I had an orange one in there. Not gonna work. Everything else was in softer colors and pinks. But, you know, just kind of mix and match and play with them and see what you can come up with. Let me know. Want to hear your comments as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.